Introduction. The Crusades encompassed a sequence of religious conflicts that arose between Christians and Muslims, with their primary objective being the establishment of authority over holy sites revered by both factions. Spanning from 1096 to 1291, these undertakings comprised 8 significant crusade campaigns, differing in scale, potency, and level of triumph. These expensive, turbulent, and frequently merciless clashes augmented the influence of European Christians, elevating them as key contenders in the struggle for territorial dominance in the Middle East. What were the Crusades? By the late 11th century, Western Europe had emerged as a significant power, but still lagged behind the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Empire in the Mediterranean region. The Byzantine Empire had suffered territorial losses to the Seljuk Turks, leading to instability and civil war. In 1081, Alexius Comnenus became the Byzantine emperor and sought to consolidate control. In 1095, Emperor Alexius I sent messengers to Pope Urban II, requesting assistance from the West to counter the Turkish threat. Despite historical tensions between Eastern and Western Christians, the timing of Alexius's appeal coincided with improving relations between the two factions. When were the Crusades? In November 1095, Pope Urban II convened the Council of Clermont in southern France, where he urged Western Christians to take up arms and assist the Byzantines in reclaiming the Holy Land from Muslim rule. This call to action marked the inception of the Crusades. Pope Urban's appeal received an overwhelming response from both the nobility and common people. Those who participated in the armed pilgrimage adorned a cross as a symbol of their dedication to the Church. The Crusades paved the way for the formation of prominent religious military orders, including the Knights Templar, the Teutonic Knights, and the Hospitallers. These organizations played a crucial role in defending the Holy Land and safeguarding Christian pilgrims on their journeys to and from the region. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099. 4 armies of crusaders led by Raymond of St. Giles, Godfrey of Bouillon, Hugh of Vermandois, and Bohemond of Taranto departed for Byzantium in August 1096. The People's Crusade, under Peter the Hermit, crossed the Bosphorus Strait early but suffered a defeat. Count Emicho's group carried out anti-Semitic massacres, causing a crisis. Upon reaching Constantinople, all leaders except Bohemond resisted Emperor Alexius' oath. In May 1097, the Crusaders attacked and captured Nicaea in Anatolia. The fall of Jerusalem. Despite tensions between the Crusaders and Byzantine leaders, the combined force persevered and advanced through Anatolia, culminating in the capture of Antioch in June 1098. Following internal conflicts for control of Antioch, the Crusaders set their sights on Jerusalem, which was under the occupation of the Egyptian Fatimids, adversaries of the Sunni Seljuks due to their Shiite Muslim affiliation. Arriving outside the walls of Jerusalem in June 1099, the Christian forces compelled the besieged city's governor to surrender by mid-July. Unfortunately, despite Tancred's assurance of protection, the Crusaders perpetrated a massacre upon their triumphant entry into Jerusalem, indiscriminately killing hundreds of men, women, and children. The Second Crusade, 1147 to 1149. After the successful First Crusade, many Crusaders returned home, while those who stayed established 4 Crusader states in Jerusalem, Edessa, Antioch, and Tripoli. The Crusader states maintained control with fortified castles until around 1130, when Muslim forces began to gain ground in their own holy war, known as jihad, against the Franks, or Christians. In 1144, Edessa fell to the Seljuk general Zangi, leading to the loss of the northernmost Crusader state and prompting a call for the Second Crusade. Led by King Louis VII of France and King Conrad III of Germany, the Second Crusade began in 1147 but suffered a major defeat at Dorylaeum. Despite assembling a large army, the Crusaders were defeated in their attack on Damascus by combined Muslim forces led by Nur al-Din, marking the end of the Second Crusade. Damascus was subsequently added to Nur al-Din's expanding empire in 1154. The Third Crusade, 1187 to 1192. After Saladin's forces captured Cairo in 1169, the Crusaders of Jerusalem were forced to retreat from Egypt. Saladin assumed control and launched an expansive campaign, intensifying after the death of Nur al-Din in 1174. In 1187, Saladin initiated a major offensive against the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem. The Christian army suffered a devastating defeat at the Battle of Hattin, resulting in the loss of the important city and significant territories. These defeats led to the Third Crusade, led by Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, King Philip II of France, and King Richard I of England, Richard the Lionheart. Richard's forces achieved victory over Saladin at the Battle of Arsuf in September 1191, the sole significant battle of the campaign. Richard recaptured Jaffa and approached Jerusalem, but opted not to besiege the city. In September 1192, Richard and Saladin signed a peace treaty, re-establishing the Kingdom of Jerusalem without Jerusalem itself, concluding the Third Crusade. The Fourth Crusade, 1202–1204. Pope Innocent III's call for a new crusade in 1198 was diverted as the Crusaders aimed to overthrow Byzantine Emperor Alexius III in favor of his nephew, Alexius IV, in 1203. Alexius IV's attempts to bring the Byzantine Church under Roman authority faced strong resistance, leading to his assassination in early 1204. In retaliation, the Crusaders declared war on Constantinople, resulting in the catastrophic fall of Constantinople. The city was brutally conquered, looted, and nearly destroyed, marking the end of the Fourth Crusade. Final Crusades, 1208–1271. In the 13th century, various crusades emerged with the goal of combating groups perceived as enemies of the Christian faith rather than solely focusing on Muslim forces in the Holy Land. The Albigensian Crusade, 1208–1229, aimed to eradicate the heretical Cathari or Albigensian sect in France, while the Baltic Crusades, 1211–1225, sought to subdue pagan communities in Transylvania. The Children's Crusade, 1212, involved a large number of young children pledging to march to Jerusalem. However, it is widely debated among historians whether it was a genuine crusade, and the group never reached the Holy Land. The Fifth Crusade, 1217–1221, initiated by Pope Innocent III, targeted Egypt but ended in surrender to Muslim defenders under al-Malik al-Kamil, Saladin's nephew. In the Sixth Crusade, 1228–1229, Emperor Frederick II negotiated the peaceful transfer of Jerusalem to Crusader control with al-Kamil. However, Muslims easily regained Jerusalem after the peace treaty expired. Louis IX of France organized the Seventh Crusade, 1248–1254, against Egypt, but it proved to be a failure for him. The Mamluks. The rise of the Mamluks, a dynasty formed by former slaves of the Islamic Empire, posed a challenge to the Crusaders. In 1260, Mamluk forces successfully halted the Mongol invasion led by Genghis Khan and his descendants, who were potential allies for the Christians. Sultan Baybars, a ruthless Mamluk leader, destroyed Antioch in 1268. In response, Louis organized the Eighth Crusade in 1270. Initially aimed at supporting the remaining Crusader states in Syria, the mission shifted to Tunis, where Louis passed away. In 1271, Edward I of England embarked on an expedition sometimes referred to as the Ninth Crusade. Although grouped with the Eighth Crusade, it achieved very little and is considered the final significant crusade to the Holy Land. The Last Crusade. In 1291, Acre, one of the last Crusader cities, was captured by the Muslim Mamluks, leading to the perceived end of the Crusader states and the Crusades. After 1291, the Church organized minor crusades with limited objectives, such as reclaiming territory from Muslims or conquering pagan regions. However, support for these efforts dwindled in the 16th century due to the Reformation and the declining influence of the papacy. Effects of the Crusades. The Crusades, despite ending in European defeat and Muslim victory, are seen by some as having expanded Christianity and Western civilization. The Roman Catholic Church gained wealth and the Pope's authority was elevated. The Crusades improved trade and transportation in Europe, leading to advancements in shipbuilding and manufacturing. They also sparked a greater interest in travel and learning, possibly setting the stage for the Renaissance. However, among Muslims, the Crusaders were seen as brutal and savage, leading to long-lasting resentment. Today, some Muslims view Western involvement in the Middle East as a negative crusade. The Crusades had a lasting impact on the Middle East and Europe, shaping political and cultural perspectives that still exist today.